Dustin Poirier's preparations for Saturday night's UFC 257 main event have more or less reached their conclusion, with fight week now well and truly underway. But while his technical and strategic tools have been sharpened, the weight of that pre-fight pressure is no doubt really setting in. However, let's not forget that pressure forges diamonds, and Dustin The Diamond Poirier has proven his mettle on countless occasions. It's only really when you go back through this man's long and hugely impressive career that you really grow to appreciate perhaps his greatest skill. Physical progression and mechanical improvements are one thing, and trust me, he has made huge leaps in both. But if you're looking to boil Dustin Poirier's career down to one facet of his skill set, it has without doubt been his ability to upset the odds that has made him the man he is today. During his run that saw him begin as the brash upstart who featured heavily in the memorable Fightville documentary to the perennial featherweight contender who just couldn't find his way to the top of the division, we had the chance to really forge our perception of Dustin Poirier. Like so many fighters before and after him, we did give him praise for his wins before hastily scrawling down notes as he lost. As we rushed in our attempt to figure out his potential and so-called ceiling, we began to pigeonhole him, place him in a box that would define our perception of his highs and of his lows. And when he finally met his most brutal defeat at the hands of Conor McGregor, that was the defining stamp on his case file. Look at Charles Oliveira. For years, we were all fully sure of what we were seeing every time Do Bronx stepped inside that octagon. He was talented, yes, and incredibly dangerous, but for us seasoned fans of the sport, we knew that Charles Oliveira was that wild, unpredictable threat who just couldn't shake his habit of making poor decisions, getting himself caught in the scrambles. And that label followed him up to 155 pounds, where again, yes, we were seeing him catching some serious momentum, but we knew who Charles Oliveira was, what his character was, where he would eventually slip up. And then of course we were all proven wrong. In one short 15-minute fight, the MMA world were forced to take a step back and acknowledge that our eyes had been clouded by our preconceived notions. For me, it was a big moment. These fighters put far more time into their progression than we do into our assessment of that progression. It's not even close. And like Charles Oliveira, Dustin Poirier could not be further removed from the guy who meandered around the featherweight top 10 without finding the answer to his struggles. How many watershed moments can you count through the career of the Diamond? His back-to-back first-round knockout wins over Carlos Diego Ferreira and Yancy Medeiros to signal his arrival to the 155-pound division. Consecutive TKO victories over Justin Gaethje and Eddie Alvarez, wins that have aged like the finest of wines. What about when he halted the 13-fight win streak of Max Holloway shortly after? How is that win looking in your eyes less than 2 years on? Even when he lost out to the champion Khabib Nurmagomedov, he managed to rebound against one of the best rising talents in the division with an instant classic battle. If I may call this video to a brief halt, to all of our regular viewers you will know the drill, but we're really trying to up our game here at MMA Dive in order to bring you even more content every week. So if you're really enjoying what we're doing so far, be sure to leave a comment and a like to let YouTube's algorithms know that we're fast becoming one of the best MMA channels on the platform. Obviously, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you do so now to stay up to date with all of our latest uploads. Okay, back to the video. In many ways, Poirier has been unfairly defined by his lowest moment. His role as a step in the ladder climbed by his UFC 257 opponent Conor McGregor. He was the first legitimate elite featherweight test encountered by the Irishman, and given how quickly he was vanquished, all of a sudden Dustin's achievements started to come as a major surprise. I know this won't apply to all of you watching, but even for myself, I was genuinely shocked on more than one occasion to see Poirier performing the way he was. But after all these years, I've grown to understand and accept that Poirier is not overperforming. He never was. He has been an elite lightweight ever since the moment he set foot in the division. A deserving winner of UFC interim gold and a fighter who would without question be champion if it weren't for the dominance of the aforementioned Khabib. I do think that Dustin does get a lot of credit these days, thankfully, especially given how well a lot of his best wins have aged. Justin Gaethje, Max Holloway, and so on. But I definitely think that the same trend is showing face in the lead up to his second crack at Conor McGregor. I do think Conor should be favoured from a stylistic perspective, but I also picked Justin Gaethje. I picked Max Holloway. Hell, I even picked Dan Hooker. Predictions are a fool's game in a sport as nuanced as this. And when it comes to Dustin Poirier, like Oliveira before him, I have now accepted this man's ability to put the past behind him. His 10-2 record at lightweight has been marred only by a sudden knockout loss to to Michael Johnson, and a defeat at the hands of the most unstoppable man in the sport. Poirier is an all-time divisional great with a knack for upsetting the odds, one who comes into every camp with an uncoachable ability to persevere, to stick with it, to understand that yes, you might have hit a wall and the fans might have placed you inside a box, but there is no box, there is no wall, and all that matters is what you do with your next fight. I'm very excited for Saturday's main event contest. I love both of these fighters as athletes and as human beings, as examples of what can be achieved through sheer determination and force of will. I won't be drawn into making a prediction, but if Poirier can upset the odds once again, if he can right the wrong that has shadowed his career for over 6 years, he will understand that his life as he once knew it will have changed forever. That's one hell of a motivating factor right there. Not that Dustin needs it, but this is a lightweight clash for the ages, folks. And with that bit of scene setting out of the way, let's just sit back and see how it all plays out. Do you have a concrete prediction for this weekend's UFC 257 main event? Do let us know in the comments section below, let's get a discussion going. Be sure to check out our video on Conor's own narrative heading into this matchup, trust me, it's an interesting one. If you enjoyed this content, be sure to leave a like on the video before subscribing to the channel to stay up to date with all of our latest uploads. And as always, thank you for watching.